Hello everyone, welcome to our YouTube channel. This is Frank in Action. So in this video, I will be talking about stage 1 and 2. We'll be learning why stage 1 and 2 are very vital and what made stage 1 and 2 very important. They are very sensitive. These are the fundamental English learning stages for the Callan method. So I'll be talking about that. We'll be giving you some points, giving you elements on what are the things that we have to consider, why stage 1 and 2 are introduced, what are the grammar patterns that we have to consider, and how long we should be able to conduct lessons to our students also. So make sure to click the subscribe button and also the ring bell button so you'll be able to get notifications when it comes to Callan method. So for this video, again, we'll be considering stage 1 and 2. Thank you so much for staying in this video. We'll be talking about again stage 1 and 2. So if you have any questions later in this video, please feel free to comment those below in the comment section. What's the function, why we are actually, stage 1 and 2 are for the beginner and post-beginner stages of the method. So these two stages, stage 1 and 2, are being introduced for vital building blocks, such as talking about the verbs like the be and have. So the present simple and the present continuous also. The subject and object pronouns, and much indispensable vocabulary. These vocabularies are perhaps very easy for our students. They're actually checking that one. How are they going to use these vocabularies in their normal or daily conversation in English? So that's the most vital reason why stage 1 and 2 is made. So these constitute the essential foundations for learning that follows at higher levels. So when you say higher levels, we're talking about stage 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Usage of verbs like be and have, the present simple, the present continuous, the subject and object pronouns, the vocabularies that are being introduced. These constitute to the essential foundations for learning that follows at higher levels. And so progress through stages 1 and 2 should not be rushed. Your goal is not to finish stage 1 right away. Your goal there is to expose our students to those vocabularies, to those English patterns, grammar patterns in stage 1 and 2. The revision is exceptionally important at these low levels so that the students develops the ability to use structures and vocabulary without thinking. So if these foundations are strong, progress will be better later on. If not, it will suffer. So I also noticed that there are some instances that I taught a student who started stage 1, but I wasn't the first teacher. I noticed that they already finished 10 pages. They already finished 15 pages of the textbook. I was so shocked. There are some questions that are not being exposed to the students so much. Like for example, what's this? So supposed to be, you're not going to talk about labels right away. You'll be talking about pen, pencil, book, and then you have to expose that student to the pattern, what's this, to another element. Like for example, you go back to the table again. Is this a table? Is this a book? But anyway, I will be putting that one in another content of our YouTube channel here. So I will be having an example of how you're gonna conduct stage 1 and 2, since again, this is so vital when it comes to learning the Callan method or English through the Callan method. Next element is very important. You have to make sure that new students know what to expect before their first lesson. So setting the right expectation to our students could really help you also as a teacher correctly train, teach your student. They are mentally and emotionally prepared to have your lesson. So learning with you would be so much fun if they have the right expectation from you also. So as they are new in the Callan method, again, we are talking about stage 1 and 2. We're expecting that they're actually new to the Callan method. If not, it would be another story. So as they are now doing the Callan method, the question and answer format, the speed, the error correction, and the sheer pace of the Callan method will be probably very different from any language lesson they may have experienced before. So you have to consider this one. Callan method is a new approach of learning the English language. So you have to give them this proper expectation. It's very important that you have to put this one as your priority when you are teaching your students through the Callan method. So especially as regards error correction, they might be having a culture shock about how students being corrected or how the teachers correct our students also. So students need to realize that you will correct their mistakes from the very start of the lesson until the end. So the correction will be instantaneous, meaning they're gonna get corrections right away every time they're gonna commit it. So this is just part of the method. So you have to set the expectation that, hey, don't be surprised if all throughout the lesson you have mistakes. As what I've said in the previous content of our textbook, the level check in the Callan method is actually very different on your real level in TOEIC, in other international recognized examination. Callan method is checking your daily conversational skill, right? So that's the great thing about Callan method. Callan method offers this kind of opportunity to our students to learn and check where are they already in their speaking skills. Setting the right expectation to our students are very vital when they are going to decide. So stage 1 and 2 is actually the decision. Most of the time they're still fresh in deciding if they're gonna do Callan method or not. So we have also to consider that one. We have to be very sensitive that they are still in their decision stage. So they're still trying to decide. So this is very important also to remind our student to go to their student's book. So our students are actually required to have their own student's book. So what you need to do to know more about Callan method, you could actually tell your student to go to the preface of the student's book in stage 1 and 2. In that way, you could be able to give them a supplementary information, what they are going to expect, or what are the things that they are going to experience through the Callan method. All right, so again, you can go or you can tell your student to go to the preface part of the student's book. It is very important also as teachers that we have to put this as our responsibility to give them explanation and also demonstration on how to do Callan method, especially during the level check. So if my student have a stage 1 level check result, I really make sure that to put more effort in giving ample time to have an explanation and also demonstration to our students. These opportunities to explain and demonstrate to our students all throughout the level check are very vital. They are very important so that the students would be able to see the important things or be able to be informed on the important elements that the students should know prior doing the proper Callan lesson. Alright, so again, explanation and also demonstrations will be very, very useful for our students' information. Let's move on to the next element, the next step. So you have to resist the temptation to speak more slowly during the low-level classes. Okay? During low-level classes, perhaps give you a chance to consider to make your speaking speed a little bit slower. It's because your student also speaking slow. All right, so this is very important right from the start of the Callan method. You already successfully give them the expectation. You give them, or you already set the proper expectation to your students that this method is a different approach type of class. So the speed are very vital. The speed is very important. So you have to make sure that students need to start developing an ability to understand without translating. So that's actually the main reason why learning the English language through the Callan method is being introduced with a sheer pace talk, meaning we have to talk very fast. Again, the main reason is to make sure that the students should not develop the chance to translate those questions and translate their answers to their own language before they're gonna talk, before they're gonna think in English. So in that case, you should speak at the same pace as you would with the high level class. So the student will get ample support from you, of course. So even if you're gonna do that, even if you speak very fast, this is your responsibility to really make sure to show your support to your student by giving them the initial prompt and also repetition of the question also. That's why all students, even if you're in the low level or in a high level English proficiency already, you are being asked twice, or the students are being asked twice all throughout the lesson. So low level and high level students are being treated the same. You should not have, or you should resist the temptation to speak more slowly during your low level classes. Constant feeding of the answer and correction are also being introduced all throughout the lesson. Again, even if they are in the low level classes, you should treat them as a high level student. So also bear in mind that material that may be difficult at first, but it will be covered again and again all throughout the lesson, so you don't have to worry about it. Students will be able to practice well. We will be focusing on what are the things that we have to consider as teachers also in teaching stage 1 and 2. So if you are using the teacher manual guide in teaching Callan, you will be able to notice some instructions and also both bold and non-bold instructions in each paragraph or in each page of the textbook. So you have to consider that one. You have to make sure that you have to read alongside in giving explanations to your students. So you will see there that those bold explanations should be read out loud to your students also. So if you're not using that one, if you're having like for example in some school like NativeCamp, we have our own information. You just need to click that one and you should be able to address, or you should be able to read that out loud to your students. So but again, if you're using the real textbook, you will be able to see explanations that are very important also in conducting stage 1 and 2. So again, stage 1 and 2, you will be able to see explanations on how you're going to conduct or how you're going to introduce those words or vocabularies during the lesson. There might be some instances that your students will be asking you on what they are going to do with the exercises located or being introduced to them through their textbook. So the exercises are actually intended for self-reviewed students. So during the time that they are out from school, or if they have free time, they could be able to have exercise and they can answer those exercises in their textbook, their student's textbook manual. So those are supplementary activities to make sure that students could be able to practice without the teachers. Now this time, let's move on to one of the most important tips and elements when you are conducting stage 1 and 2, and that's what we call as the chart. So Callan demonstration charts are very vital when you do stage 1 and 2 lessons. Why? Because it can give direct information. It can give visual aids to our students in understanding the questions. So pointing them properly, making sure that your charts are available are very important in preparing your lesson in stage 1 and 2. So make sure that they are in your side or in front of you so that you could have easy access from time to time, every time you need them all throughout your lesson. So these are very important, especially in the first vocabularies about what's this, is this, yes, no. Those vocabularies or those new vocabularies introduced. Callan demonstration chart, those are very important when you are conducting the lesson. So make sure that they are placed properly and they are placed with easy access location so that you can just get them when you need them in the middle of your lesson. This time, let's move on to the revision. So stage 1 and 2, you do revision, meaning that, for example, if the student is already in stage 1, paragraph number 10, then you have 2 minus 6, so you have to start from stage 4, right, in your textbook. So you can ask the questions until you reach to the current progress report, and then you can start doing the new work later. So the other one, we have to talk about the stage exam. So the stage exam can be used to check the progress of the students before they move on to the next stage. For more information about this one, you could be able to check your trainer's guideline on how you're going to do the stage exam. So in my school, NativeCamp, we don't do this examination, but in some cases, like for example, if the student are able to finish the whole Callan lesson, my student would take a free talking book lesson with me, and they are going to answer with me those stage exam from stage 1 to 12. So that's how I also strengthen the foundation, me and the students, so we could be able to put more practice when it comes to Callan lesson. Right, now this time let's talk about the FSR and the QSR, the quick stage revision and the full stage revision thing. Right, now if you finish stage 1 after the new work, after introducing vocabularies from stage 1, every lesson you have to do revision, right? So you do review from the previous 6 pages of the textbook. Now after finishing introducing the new work or the new vocabulary in stage 1, what you need to do is to do the full stage revision of stage 1. So what do you do in stage 1 full stage revision? You're just going to ask the question from the very first question being introduced in stage 1, and that's what's this. Now you're going to finish that one until the last page or last paragraph of stage 1. Again, mainly question answer. You don't have to explain. That's what you're gonna do, the full stage revision. Again, after stage 1, introducing the vocabulary, you're going to move on directly to the full stage revision of stage 1. Now what are you gonna do if you finish stage 2? So what you're gonna do is, after you do the vocabulary introduction, after you finish asking those questions in stage 2, what you need to do is to do the stage 1 quick stage revision. So you have to go back to stage 1, but we're gonna do, there will be questions already being gathered from our Callan Method trainers. So what you just need to do is to ask those questions, maybe less than 100 questions from stage 1, or intelligently selected from our trainers, and then after that you're gonna move on to stage 2. Again, after stage 2 vocabulary introduction, you're gonna do stage 1 quick stage revision. After that, after you finish that those questions introducing to your students, you're gonna move on to stage 2 full stage revision. So you get to start from the very beginning of stage 2, all question answer pattern. All right, so I hope it's already clear. Stage 1, you go directly to full stage revision. For stage 2, you're gonna go back to stage 1, but only do the quick stage revision. After the quick stage revision of stage 1, you're gonna do the full stage revision of stage 2. Alright, so I think that would be all for our stage 1 tips and element sharing. So I hope you get value to those information. And again, after I do the follow-up trainings about stage 1 to 12, I will be trying my best to do a demonstration class with those stages that we took all throughout the training here in our YouTube channel. Alright, guys, thank you so much for listening and watching my content for today. I hope, again, you get value to those. And again, this is Teacher Frank here in Frank in Action. So if you're not yet subscribed in this YouTube channel, make sure to click the subscribe button and also the ring bell button so you will be able to get notification in the next video. Also, please don't forget to share this video to your co-teachers who are still having difficulties and confusion on how to do stage 1 and 2. So if you are already teaching stage 1 and 2, make this video as your supplementary videos so that you could review if you are still in line in teaching stage 1 and 2. Again, thank you so much for watching. Have a great day, everybody. Bye-bye.